Hey everyone, it's TTT coming to you live with our first ever video podcast. We're serving all the hottest tea on all topics. It's me, Aries, the corporate creative, also featuring...
Hi, I'm Molly. I'm a fashion influencer, so I've built up a following. I love like social media. I'm posting all my outfits. So yeah, we're gonna get stuck in. We're also here with
Nikki Bar. I am a creative blogger and I blog all fashion, music and anything creative. And we have the beautiful, for our first ever episode, the talented Leigh Anne Pinnock. We are literally going to be discussing so many different topics, from colourism to fashion to her new releases. And yeah, we're really excited to have you today. Thank you so much for coming on our ever first episode of the Trilly Trio.
Oh, how exciting! I can't believe that I just met you guys at the march. Like, this is so random, isn't it?
You're literally saying that.
It's incredible.
But do you know what? It's good that actually, you know, you've put yourself forward and actually want to get involved in some of the conversations we are going to have today, because as much as it is going to be really fun, it's going to be really difficult to tackle some of the things we want to talk about. So we're so grateful to have you here.
So we have some questions that we want to ask you.
Yeah.
Just firstly, how has quarantine been for you in this time? Like, what have you been getting up to?
Oh, what a strange time, right?
Yeah.
Like,
literally.
so weird. At first, I was just a bit like, okay, no, I hate this. Like, I need to be working.
Same.
Like, this is just not for me. But then I just kind of got round to the idea I needed a break anyway. Like, all us girls needed a break. And I started just to embrace it and doing things that I wouldn't have had time to do. So, like, I've learnt that I'm a pretty good cook, just saying.
Yeah.
Pretty good cook. We got a barrel made, you know, like proper jerk barrel.
Yeah.
So we were making, like, proper jerk chicken. I'm really good at making jerk chicken wraps. That's kind of like my little speciality.
Girl.
Yeah. But I really enjoyed doing that. What else? I'm just happy to be back and doing things again.
Yeah. You've been working on music quite a lot in the background with the girls, or?
Yeah, so we already had the album pretty much done.
Oh,
Okay.
Which was good. We kind of got a lot of it done before lockdown.
Big fan, by the way. So sorry.
Yay.
I am Black Magic. That is my
Really?
yes, girl.
Yeah, don't go.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We're never gonna go there, but yeah.
Yeah, we're just saying, you and the girls, a whole little mixed group, you just look like such a great sisterhood, and the energy you lot have is amazing. We just wanted to ask, how has it been on them, or some of the struggles you might face with racism? Like, do you feel like they have supported you with any of that?
Yeah. I feel like for a long time, like, I didn't really know how to explain how I felt.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't even know that it was down to the colour of my skin. Like, I couldn't fathom it. I couldn't come to terms with that. It was just, I just couldn't. I went to a school that was pretty multicultural.
Oh,
Okay.
I did, yeah. So I didn't really face much racism as I was growing up. A little bit in primary school, because that was predominantly white.
I did read about that. When you was about 9 or so.
Yeah. This little boy, he wrote something on a little bit of paper saying, name Leigh Anne, age 9, nationality jungle. And
Which is terrible.
I was hysterical. I was talking to my friend about it the other day, who my best friend in primary school at the time. And she was like, I can just remember you were literally hysterical about it. And we don't think anything happened from it as well.
Yeah.
And when we were trying to remember it, I'm pretty sure he didn't even get like a punishment or anything. Like, it was just mad. And I knew that was racism at the time. Like, I wasn't naive to it. I knew what it was. But yeah, then I went to the secondary school, which was multicultural. So I never really had to face much racism. It wasn't until I got put into the group where it kind of hit me, and I wasn't really prepared for it.
Yeah.
So that's why it took me so long to understand it. And but then obviously the last couple of years, like, I know what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy that I can actually talk about it now, and I've come out about it, and I'm being open, and I feel like this weight is kind of slowly being lifted. So
I also read that you feel as though when you are performing, you don't really feel like you're performing to people that, you know, kind of see you as a Black woman, in the sense of, you know, your crowd is like predominantly you know, a certain race. And that is quite heartbreaking to kind of see yourself as that, because you are, you know, in a group, and you should obviously be treated equally, but for you to kind of feel like that just speaks like volumes in itself, to know like there obviously is a problem. And yeah, like having you on here to kind of tell your story is kind of why we're thankful, because you know, not a lot of people will understand where you're coming from, especially you making, you know, active movements to actually show people, you know, what you want to be heard and what you, do you know what I mean? So
one question I will have is, obviously coming from a background which you say was, you know, you went to schools that were quite mixed, and then now being in this girl band, which is predominantly obviously, you know, the white race and white fan base, do you feel, what shifts do you feel, and has that had an effect on you personally, or do you feel like you've had to change yourself in any way from when you did grow up, or do you feel like it's actually made you more confident that maybe you look different, and it's actually it's a better thing in a way that you can inspire other girls to be, you know, even if you are the only one, you can still be amazing at what you do.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm gonna be honest, at the beginning, I lost my confidence completely.
Yeah.
Aww.
Like, I was literally like...
Was this from X Factor, basically? Coming from X Factor?
From X Factor onwards, I lost my confidence. I wasn't performing to the best of my ability. But I feel like now I can say that being black is my power. Like, in the last couple of years, like, that is exactly how I see it. It is. And if I am inspiring little brown and black girls to follow in my footsteps and know that they're not going to be like, they shouldn't let their race hold them back, and to go for their dreams and to aspire to be whatever they want to be. And if I'm doing that, then I'm doing my job, I guess. But yeah, it's mad, like, going from that girl all those years ago to now, like, it's definitely a more confident person, and someone that just wants to speak her truth. And I literally don't care anymore. Like, if I lose fans, if people don't like what I have to say, like, if I offend people,
rightly
like,
so.
We cannot be quiet anymore. Like, for too long, this conversation has been awkward. And it shouldn't be like that.
It shouldn't.
But like, now I'm having conversations with my white friends, and like, they're actively going out and educating themselves, and I can have these conversations with them now. Like, this isn't just like Sunday dinner with my family that we have these conversations. Like, I feel like now is the time, like, the world has to have them. And
just for the record, we met Leigh Anne at one of the BLM protests, and we were just getting into conversation. So what kind of other things are you actively doing to show your support to the BLM movement, like on your platforms or just like in your everyday life? Like, what kind of stuff, like things are you taking into consideration, or, you know, just kind of highlighting the movement a bit more?
So I've been asked to do lots of interviews, just to kind of talk about my experience. I uploaded that video where I kind of just opened up about everything. And I think hopefully by me sharing my story and like my side of things, it will inspire other people to talk out and kind of keep the conversation going.
I like that you are utilizing your platform to highlight something that is so uncomfortable, quote unquote, but it shouldn't have to be uncomfortable. So that is why it's like amazing to kind of see you doing that, and to kind of showing, you know, little young girls or even young boys that look like you, sound like you, to know that, you know, you've got their back, you know, and you're basically there to support them. So that is really, really good.
So what were the things that actually knocked your confidence down? Because I think there's going to be a lot of the audience who can probably relate to the things you went through, not only in the creative industry, but in other ways. So it might be nice for them to know that if you are trying to get into the creative industry, or you are in industries of other, you know, other things, you know, other people are going through it too, and don't be afraid to speak up. So it would be good to know, like, what were the things that really knocked you down?
For me, it was going to these countries and not hearing my name be cheered, not being cheered for, having getting anxious before fan events and signings and things like that, fan interactions, because I knew that I wouldn't feel favoured. I knew my name wasn't going to be screamed. I knew that I was always going to feel the least favoured. And it was just like an ongoing thing. And it doesn't matter what I did. Like, I got extra singing lessons. I tried to talk more in interviews.
Yeah.
Tried to, like, better myself. And even when I felt like I got to, like, I fulfilled my potential and, like, I was smashing it on tours, I still felt the same. So it's like, like, it wasn't me.
You couldn't catch a break, basically.
No.
And who did you, like, express this to? Could you go to anyone who was, you know, managing you or helping you to express this? And if you did, was there any change, or was it kind of just a...
I was, at the beginning, we had a manager and I was kind of crying to her most days, just saying, like, why do I feel like this? Like, I feel like I might as well not be here. And then she was like, what do you mean? Like, you're amazing. Don't be silly. Like, and then some people were saying, it's in your head. Don't be silly. It's in your head. Like, my friends think you're the best. Like, and I'm like, you don't get it.
You don't.
And I will never forget, we went, where did we go? We went somewhere in the UK and got off the plane, and I walked off first, and there were some fans waiting. They walked straight past me and went to the other girls. Really? And I was like, oh my God. And it's just like, okay, so imagine if I can relate it to like a workplace. Imagine like you're trying your best, you're working so hard, but you're not getting any of the attention. It's going on to someone else who's doing the same thing as you, but just doesn't look like you. Like all the attention and praise is going to them, but not you. And you're like, why? And why am I not good enough?
So you start working harder, like you said, with the singing lessons, etc., and it still doesn't pay. Which is why I was saying it relates to a lot of people, even in the corporate industry. That, you know, we always feel as though we have to do 10 times more to actually be seen or heard. And even then, you might be seen as a bit too confident or a bit too arrogant. So have you ever been, do you feel like you've ever been kind of bracketed off into maybe black stereotypes, negative stereotypes in any ways because of maybe trying to speak out or in any way?
I feel like sometimes if I walk into a room, like I'll be deemed the unapproachable one. But people don't understand, like it's a feeling. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, people say, oh, you're overreacting, it's in your head. No,
or you're aggressive, quote
unquote. But how would you know unless you experience it yourself? How would you know? Like you've never, if you've never had to experience racism, if you've never had to be judged from the colour of your skin, something you cannot change, how would you even know?
What do you feel like you can do to encourage girls like me to keep trying to get our way in the industry, but also have the other side want us in the industry?
This is it.
Because no one wants to go where they're not wanted.
No.
So, you know, maybe a younger girl who wants to be a singer, who looks like me, what would you say she should do or can do to kind of push her to, you know, be that superstar she wants to be, although, you know, the odds are kind of...
Or to just reach her full potential without feeling like she has to dim her light down in any type of way.
But that's exactly it. Like, you don't need to dim your light down. Like, I think we need to teach young black girls just how beautiful they are. Like, and it starts from young, but I think I would say just don't let your colour hold you back. Like, you might not see many girls look like you right now, but wherever you do, like, you can't, you have to just keep going. You have to believe, and you have to just go for it. And I think it starts as well from behind the scenes. Like, there needs to be more black people in the music industry, like the labels behind the scenes. Like, there needs to be more. Like, my management, one mixed race woman in the whole of the management team. And just because I'm in the pop industry doesn't mean there should be black people working on it.
Yeah, so I do fashion, which I do love. I'm a fashion influencer on social media, and you know, we're talking about the whole racism and just black people just not being treated as fairly as, you know, like my white counterparts. There has been issues when I'm working with brands with a collaboration to post content for them. That's how it works. To post a picture, you know, some of the times when you go into that brand's page, I won't see girls who look like me. There literally won't be black influencers on their feed, which is a big issue because you're working with black influencers. So why not post them as well? It's kind of like, I don't know. I used to feel like it was like they were working with me in a secretive way, or they wanted to get my audience.
Right.
They wanted to get the sales from my followers, but not post black creators on their page, if you know what I mean. And yeah, so I was really excited. I actually was super excited to be like gifted clothes. You know, I'm thinking free clothes, I'll post a picture. So that was a peak for me actually with this brand, because I actually really like this brand anyway. But I went to an event and I got speaking to this lovely girl. Like, she was a beautiful girl, really lovely. She was a white influencer, and she just basically was just sharing her excitement to get paid for this collaboration, which kind of just took me back. I was just thinking, oh, I thought we just got the clothes and there weren't no payment.
Wow.
Because the brand told me there was no budget. So yeah, I found out she got paid for it. So that made me just kind of think, oh, maybe she's a higher influencer. She's probably like a big dog in the game, like with more followers than me. So we got speaking, followed each other. I looked on her page and she literally had half the following I had.
Wow.
And yeah, she had half the following, half the engagement.
No.
I had way more engagement. So I just thought, yeah, how, why, you know? So yeah.
I remember fashion was very much about the really skinny model with the flat bum, with the very thin lips. And now that they're realizing, I don't know if it's because of America's influence, that, you know, voluptuous figures and realistic bodies actually look a lot nicer.
Yeah.
100%.
You know, now they're jumping on the bandwagon. So it's not that we're angry at, well, yeah, I am angry at people blackfishing, because you didn't have to go through being unsalted your entire life to look a certain way, and then you go and buy it and try and make it look good when it's been, and then you're trying to sell it like you started it, like
You've
been here, like what?
Really.
Let's lighten it up a bit and talk about some of the things coming forward and stuff, and how you know, you're engaged now and how that's going. Like, is the wedding date set or?
Oh yeah. So I mean, I basically had the whole thing planned before I was even engaged.
As most women would normally do.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I'm gonna do it in Jamaica.
Okay.
2022.
Okay, girl.
Oh. So I've got time. I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna get it all rushed for next year. Like, there's a lot going on in there. So give myself time to plan. But yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait, man.
Nice, I know.
That's a wrap for us, guys. Thanks for listening and tuning in. It's TTT, the Trilly Trio, with our first ever video podcast. We hope to see you on our next episode. And we want to say a really, really, really big thank you to Leigh Anne again for being amazing and so open on our first ever podcast, especially with the topics we're talking about. But we hope to see you again soon. And yeah.
Thank you so much for supporting us as well and taking the time out. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity and being able to be open. And like you say, it is our therapy.
Yeah.
So,
and we hope to see you soon, girl.
Yeah.
Back when we bigger.
Yeah.
I'll see you in the studio.
Yes.
Okay? Yeah.
Yes.